It's about 1:30 here, and just had this real strange urge to make a video, and there was just a lot of things I was thinking about, but I don't know. I just decided to kind of answer some of the comments that I get here. I think that'll be interesting. Vietnam Emperor 123461. He asked me if how do I feel about this young generation growing up. He said, we're not eating healthy, we're getting out of college with thousands of dollars of debt, etc. What do you think God has a plan for us? Um, I think I already wrote a comment here, but I really have high hopes for this new generation. I understand that this generation has a lot of obstacles in front of them. There's so many new technologies, so many new media that tempts them and kind of leads them in wrong directions. But what does that have to do with God? Like God has more power and more strength than anyone in this whole universe, and that kind of stuff is not going to block God from doing his work. The bad kids will always be bad kids, and they're going to go their way. They're going to, do what they do. But God says that his sheep will hear the shepherd's voice. It means that there will be people out there, this new generation, that will feel, the conviction of God, and they will turn towards God. And imagine these kids who have all these new technology in the palm of their hands, what they could do for God. I'm in this new current generation, and I don't know too much about technology. I know a little bit about YouTube here and there, but you know, I'm able to evangelize more effectively than those in the past because of technology. Imagine these new generations that might come, you know, and I don't know. I have high hopes for them, and the people who are getting out of college with tons of debt. I mean, I understand that this economy and this world is kind of making it hard for people to make it out in this world, but this is a good chance and good time for us to be humbled and to truly use this lacking, you know, as an excuse to go up to God and say, you know what, Lord, I have this debt, and put it in His hands and see Him work it out. This debt is no different from any other debt that we had to deal with, whether it be our sin debt or just, things that we accumulate over in our lives. I mean, any problem is a problem if we can't figure it out. But if you have God, if you have Christ that can figure anything out for you, nothing is a problem. And so if you have debt, it's more good reason for you to go out and kneel before the Lord and say, you know what? I can't take control of my own life. You take control of it. And you will. And you will see Him change your life and lead your life, good. And you asked, what do you think God has a plan for us? I honestly think God's plan is ultimately to make us into His disciples, to follow Him, to make other people disciples, so that those other people will disciple others, and you'll always have fruit and bear more fruit, and so on and so forth. And then this world becomes a better place if everybody, becomes disciples of Christ. That's what I believe. Leanne B. Avery Hart, have you ever considered being a counselor? When I was a kid, I always thought I wanted to be a counselor because I was able to listen to people. But as I grew older, I realized, I don't have the patience for that. And to become a counselor is just, it's a difficult work. And I haven't really thought about it, but I don't think that's the right job for me. Let's see. Well, thank you so much for all the amazing comments that you guys leave. It's very, it's encouraging, and it's just filled with love, It's very nice to see that. Abnormal, I was feeling sad today, and your videos made me feel like everything is okay. Everything is okay. You don't gotta worry about all this stuff so much. You know, really just don't feel sad or anything like that. Be in the light, read the word, and you'll feel happier. Thank you, Tati5118. Thanks for praying for me. Hmm. Maya smiling. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of things. It's kind of hard to filter them out. The ones that are like questions and ones that are just comments. It's kind of sorry. This one. Uh, no one says my name right. I guess he or she said after she watches the video, she feels a little bit better, but when the video is done, I find myself still lost. Um, like I could really relate to that. It's that sometimes I listen to sermon or listen to Word of God, and then immediately as I go out into the world, my happiness is sucked out of me. And then later on, as I start to realize the Word is that Word is like food for our spirit and for our minds. And there are times when you kind of dig into the Word, right? And you listen to it, and then you feel really full and you feel so good about it. And then a little while later, we get hungry again. But because we're not so, you know, inclined to listen to the words of the Spirit, we just ignore it. And we just kind of indulge in our flesh. We eat food, we do the things that make us happy in this life and so on. And then we completely neglect the Spirit. So think of it this way. It's like when you listen to the Word just like once or twice, it's like eating a big meal. It's like going to hometown buffet and eating a bunch of ribs and eating all sorts of stuff. And then you get full. And then for the next week, you don't eat anything. And then you wonder why you feel bad and you feel so horrible and you feel weak. You feel so tempted about everything and you just kind of like, you don't have strength. But where's my faith? Where's my belief? Where's my works? It's because you're so tired in the spirit. And the funny thing is, when you're tired in the spirit, you get tired in real life, like your physicalness, you know? And so, what's really important is consistency. Even if you eat a little bit, it's better to eat every day, just a little bit, rather than eating once every like a week. You know what I mean? And so, it's really helpful, and something that all Christians really must do is to dig into the Word of God in the morning, in the lunch, at night. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but when you read the Word, God speaks to you. You know what I mean? He speaks to you in His own ways. You feel it, and it's just like, whoa, this is so relevant to what I was just thinking about. This is what I was being concerned about. This is what, I was really wanting to know, and God is revealing it to me in the Bible right now. Like, some people might take it as coincidence and say, well, I just happened to read it, but God says that even a grasshopper's hop, God knows where that grasshopper is going to land. He knows everything. And so, the simple page turning, you know, there are certain times when I read the Bible and I'm just kind of like randomly flip through it. And then there are times when I feel like I should read this, but then at the last moment I go, you know what? No, I'm going to flip a few pages, back. And then when I read that, that's exactly what I needed to read. And then I often think, like, what if I just read where I just turned to? Would I have still gotten that word? I'll never know because I never did it. But just even some simple choice like that, I can never rewind, and that's what being a human is about. And I feel like when God says, like, why do you worry when you can't even add 5 cubits to your stature? Like, you can't even make yourself greater even by 5 cubits. You can't change your hair black or white on your command or anything. Why do you worry about the future? Like, why do we worry about 5 minutes from now or 15 minutes from now? We have no control over it. God does. But if you have faith in God and that you know that God has your best interest in mind, you would be at peace and you would be like, you know what, I'm good. So the conclusion was to read the Word, and you'll feel so much happier, and you won't feel lost, because the Word really sets you free. And oftentimes when I am lost, it's not because I did something wrong or because I was more evil or God hates me, or it has nothing to do with that. It's because I'm not feeding myself the words that God had given me. In the word there's everything. The word is God, so God is everything. And so naturally the word is everything, and it really is. Anyways, moving on. Just a few more questions, I guess. Um, Went to the same exact experience when taking art class in community college. I felt like a sardine around sharks. Everyone was so talented, and I was no longer proud of my work. I'm glad to know somebody else had the same experience. Yeah, I understand how it feels when your work just becomes compared to other people's works, but don't feel so down about that. The fact is, nobody else could do your work better than you can. You know what I mean? You have a unique mind, and you are the image of God, and you can create things that other people can't create. And look at Picasso's work. It's really, really interesting at best. But I mean, even someone like that, he could really make his art something. And so don't ever lose hope in your own art. It is a gift of God, and take it as far as you can, if that's your passion, of course. Let's see. This really motivates me to speak on my life too, except for the fact that I'm camera shy, but your videos are still inspiring. Honestly, if I could advise you on something, is that don't share your life. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not as glamorous or interesting as it is. It really isn't. But I'm so lucky that my mistake of sharing my life, turned towards the way of preaching God. If it was continually just talking about my life, I wouldn't be able to live my life. There was many times in my life where I say, I kind of talk about my life, my breakups, my problems, whatever. And there are times when you have this quote unquote fame and popularity for a while, and then you realize that your whole life is on this interweb for anyone to see, and it's like they dissect it and they see who you are, and you realize you're not perfect and you're so flawed in so many ways, and it's, you feel so transparent, and as you live your life, and you would think that listening to the words of other people would give you strength and hope and courage, but in fact it really makes you self-conscious. You realize, what if people stop saying that to you? What if people start changing their minds towards you? And you start worrying about the what ifs in life, and it just really, makes your life difficult. But fortunately for me, I after I felt all that, darkness, God took me out of that and showed me a new path that says, you know what? Stop talking about your life, talk about my life. You know what I mean? And talk about Christ, talk about God. And the best way to do that is to talk about the testimonies I've experienced with God and such. And it really helps a lot. And so if you really do want to make videos on YouTube and stuff like that, I really suggest that you start with God as your foundation. Um, oh yeah. Harry Who asked me what kind of Christian denomination I am. Um, oh, believe me, I've been in many denominations. Ever since I was a kid, just, I don't know, my family was very spiritually, I don't know, adept. My dad really wanted to find the truth, and to find that truth, we went through a lot of wrongs and false churches. Um, we used works after works, and we did so many things that wasn't biblically sound, but we were so caught up in the moment, so caught up in keeping the law, trying to be good, trying to obey, and just trying to be the best Christian that we thought we could be. But we realized we were just working hard but stupid, you know. And in the end, we finally found the truth, and we finally got set free. But I would definitely say I'm Protestant, because Protestant is protesting the ways of the Catholic Church. I don't want to talk ill about those who are in there, and um, but that's what a protesting is. It's protesting the Catholic Church. Is that we don't follow the traditions of men. We don't confess our sins to a priest or call them Father, because our Father is God. There is no mediator between man and God except for Jesus Christ. There is no other middleman in between that. And we don't pray to saints or statues, because we ourselves are saints when we are saved. When we are born again, we are saints. We don't gain this saintship by doing good things, or doing something miraculous, or doing miracles, or having conditions. We become saints merely by the gift of God, because we're saved by grace and of faith, not of works. But I also believe that if we truly are saved, our faith will produce works naturally. We don't have to try to do it. Is that Christ? If you're aligned with Christ, Christ will work in you, and He will bear fruit. But then if you're saved for a many long time and then you don't bear fruit, I'm not going to say like you're not saved, but definitely God will purge you to try to get fruit out of you. You know what I mean? And if there is no fruit in your life, so basically those who get saved around you, then you should really dig into your foundation and find what's stopping this growth. You know what I mean? Like, what is causing this kind of, you know, vanity, I suppose. But anyways, that's the denomination, is that anyone who is saved by grace. Right. And people loved my German. Danke sehr. Ich lerne Deutsch für 2 Jahre in den Schulen. I think I said that right. I don't know. There was this time in my life where I was so obsessed with German. I thought it sounded really beautiful and powerful. I know there's a lot of cliche things about German being really like manly and like, you know, like every other language has like "I love you" or like "l'amour" or whatever, and all of a sudden German is and it's just like, "Hey, what are you saying?" But I don't know. I think German is a very beautiful word, a beautiful language, and yeah, I just really like it. Yeah, and then Pretty Nuna said, "Can you show me some of your art?" Um, there's so many things that I do want to share with you guys, whether it be music. I've been playing music ever since, and practicing and practicing, but you know how it is if you don't, show people, or kind of do that, you just doubt yourself and all that. But I don't know, recently I just been feeling like, you know what, I want to share that with people. If it would give them happiness or peace, I would like to do that. And also for art, I got some stuff, but I'm not really too proud of it. But yeah, if you guys want to see it, when I have time, I'll show some. Let's see. Pretty Rose 01. Hi David, you inspired me a lot, and yes, we black women go through a lot and still stand strong. Anyways, I love your videos, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, this is a topic I used to talk about a while back, but I honestly feel like, uh, you know, I don't know, it's pretty general, but I feel like, in general, the media is attacking black women. They attack other people too, but I notice it quite often, and it really makes me angry. Like, it boils me inside, because I don't like unfair treatment to anyone per se, but I have an affinity for black women. You guys really supported me throughout the years and said so many amazing things for me, and I was able to understand the struggles of the black woman, because I kind of talked to them a lot, and I got to hear their inside stories of what it's like, and there's a lot of different taboo that goes with it, like, um, like I learned a lot of things that I never even knew was a problem. Um, I don't know if that's the thing. Whenever I talk about it, I feel like, is it better to just kind of keep it silent, or is it something that you'll bring it up, but then run the risk of just kind of shaming them more unnecessarily? So it's always been a very icky subject for me because, like, for example, I don't like listening about the Asian struggle so much because you kind of have to bring about all the things that are stereotyped of Asians, like, oh, small eyes and always goofy and very asexual and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want to hear that because I know that they're stereotypes, but at the same time, that's what we're known for, and it's just like really difficult to hear it over and over again. So instead of the bad things, I want to focus on the good things. Is that, um, yeah, you guys are truly strong, and that doesn't mean you're manly or anything like that. As the stereotype stands, is that strong in the mind and in the soul. You know what I mean? You guys go through a lot of things in this life, truly a lot of things. Whether it be history or the things that you actually been through. Your ancestors have been through, your forefathers. Just it's a horrible history throughout. But you guys still stand strong, and it's difficult to walk, you know, with that baggage. As an Asian man, I carry certain baggages of my ancestors and the things that I have to deal with because of what's being portrayed in the media. And it's really difficult to fight them off and to always fend it off and to defend yourself. It's a struggle every day. But I know that through that, we become stronger. And I see that in black women, is that you guys are strong in the eyes, very charismatic when you guys talk and speak, are very bold in what you want. And that's not a bad thing. It's a very admirable thing. Sometimes I wish I could say what I want to say, but oftentimes I can't because, I'm kind of stuck in this image of the Asian man. Like, but you guys don't care about that kind of stuff. You guys just go, what, screw that. You know? And I really admire that, really. And I have a lot of things to say about that, but that's what I'm gonna leave up for now. Sorry, I'm a little cold, and so my throat's kind of, yeah. It is like almost 2 o'clock, so why am I up right now? I have no idea. Last one. Yellow Star 234. This time in my life where I'm questioning my worthiness of God. These videos really help me on different perspectives. It makes me realize it doesn't matter what you've been through, but what you take from your past and what you change. Um, so here he talked about worthiness. Are we worth God? And honestly, it's like God sent his own son, Jesus Christ, to die for us. We're worth it, truly worth it. What other human being looks up at the star and questions whether God exists or not? What other animal picks up like a fruit and just like not only eats it but savors it and even expresses it with their mouth and say, God, this is amazing. Like, how did you make this? The taste, the sourness, and the sweetness. No animal does that. A llama eating an apple from a tree just spits it out. No appreciation whatsoever. But human beings are different. Human beings truly, not only just fruit or food, it's just the way we treat other people. I was watching a movie the other day, real quick, and there was like a boat that blew up, and there were people inside and children. It was like a horrible scene. And immediately the next scene, there was like police cars, fire trucks, hundreds and hundreds of people just going back and forth, like with bulletin boards and just all different types of stuff, trying to help the situation, trying to figure out what happened, trying to rescue people out of the ocean. So many good things happening in that one little moment. And I just started to realize, it's like, What other animal does this? Who really, organizes all this stuff to help people? Well, what do those people have anything to do with them? You know what I mean? It's just like those people have nothing to do with them, but yet because they're fellow human beings, because they care for them, because they have love in their hearts, because in a way they are the image of God. They have a little bit of God in them. And so they naturally love the creation that is man, and they like try to help people. And I was really touched by that. And it really reminded me of like this old video of like these three wolves chasing after like buffaloes or some sort of like cow type animal, right? And they're stampeding away, and then one of the cow, it's weird to say cow, but like a caribou, I guess. Yeah, it was a caribou. So one of the caribou kind of like stumbles, and it's about to get eaten by the wolf. And immediately on the front, another caribou rushes back, and for a split second, it looks like the caribou is trying to save his fellow caribou, but in fact, the caribou just runs the caribou over. You know what I mean? He just runs him over, and the wolves get at them and eat them up and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, you know, animals don't do that for each other, but yet human beings do. I mean, there's so many aspects of human beings that are just so marvelous and so wonderful, and truly God's like pinnacle of design. That's like his most amazing design. And we have this free will to love God. We could also reject him, but then when we truly accept him, we truly accepted him. Because we have the choice to deny him, but some people don't. I didn't deny God. I don't want to. He's so lovely to me, and I want to accept him. And so when I accept him, God knows truly I did accept him because of his character, not because he forced me, not because he made me into this machine that, oh, I love you, God. And that in itself is like lovely to God, for people to accept him for him and his character through his words. And so you ask the question of worthiness. It's like, you are worth it. Everybody is worth it. You know? But what we need to realize is God worth it? And God truly is worth it. And once you realize that, it's just like another ball game. Well, anyways, that's it's a long, long explanation for that. Anyways, hope you have a good night, and I hope that this wasn't too boring or anything. I wish you the best of luck, and God bless.